All right, let's get right into it. This isn't just another story about a regional conflict. Far from it. We're looking at something happening in Yemen that could, and I mean really could, crash the entire global economy. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how that's possible.
Wow. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence, it says it all, doesn't it? It's this powerful reminder that we're all connected. You know, a missile fired thousands of miles away can literally make the milk in your fridge more expensive. It doesn't matter if you're in New York, London, or Lahore. So the big question is, how on earth did we get to this point?
I know what you're thinking. It sounds crazy, right? How can one small group basically hold the entire world's economy hostage? Well, turns out they found the perfect economic pressure point, and believe me, they are squeezing it for all it's worth. So let's unpack how they're pulling this off.
Okay, to really get what's happening, you have to understand this one key shift. This isn't about capturing another hill or another town anymore. No, the Houthis have changed the game. They're now fighting a war on a completely different battlefield. They're attacking the arteries of globalization itself. They figured out that hitting global supply chains, the very things our modern lives depend on, is way more powerful.
You hear these terms on the news all the time, right? Maritime instability, supply chain disruptions. It all sounds so abstract. But what does it actually mean for you? Well, it means that new phone you've been waiting for, it's probably going to be delayed by about 3 weeks. It means the parts needed to fix your car are stuck on a boat. It means the stuff you buy every day is taking the long way around Africa, or worse, it's not coming at all. This isn't some distant problem. It's a direct hit to your day-to-day life.
So the question remains, how is this even possible? How can one group cause so much chaos? Well, the answer is simple, and it's been the same for centuries. Geography. Location, location, location. They found one of the world's most important and, frankly, most vulnerable strategic choke points. Let's take a look at the map.
This is it, the Bab al-Mandab Strait. Think of it as a superhighway for pretty much everything you buy. It's the critical link between Europe and Asia. But here's the kicker, and what makes this so dangerous. For years, this was the world's backup plan. The other major choke point, the Strait of Hormuz, has become unreliable. So this was our safety valve for global energy. And now, it's become a trap.
And just like that, by controlling this tiny strip of water, the Houthis have made themselves the gatekeepers. They are literally standing at the doorway of the global economy. They get to decide who comes in and who goes out. That gives them a kind of power, a kind of leverage that is just staggering.
Okay, but wait a second. You're probably thinking, don't we have billion-dollar warships and trillion-dollar defense systems for exactly this kind of thing? And yeah, we do, but the rules of the game have completely changed. This is a perfect example of what military folks call asymmetric warfare. And what that really means is cheap, clever new weapons are making our incredibly expensive defenses look, well, kind of obsolete.
And just look at what they're using. This isn't old dumbfire stuff. We're talking about guided projectiles that literally dance in the air to dodge our defenses. We're talking about drones that can skim just above the waves, totally silent, waiting for days for the perfect moment to hit. And the craziest part? They're launching all of this from deep inside mountain caves where our most advanced satellites and spy planes just can't see them. It's a nightmare scenario.
Now get this, $10,000. That's it. That's the cost of one of these drones. In the world of military hardware, that's basically pocket change. You can build a whole army of these things for nothing. But that's only half the story. Because on the other side, it costs over $1 million to shoot one down. Just do the math. It's insane. They spend 10 grand, and we have to spend $1 million. That's a 100-to-1 cost difference. You just can't win that game long term. It's not sustainable. It's economically impossible.
And this is the strategy. It's brilliant, in a terrifying way. It's called resource bankruptcy. The goal isn't to win one big battle. The goal is to make your enemy go broke. You just keep throwing these cheap drones at them, again and again and again, until they literally run out of the expensive missiles needed to shoot them down. You're not defeating them with bombs, you're defeating them with a calculator.
So this entire situation on the high seas creates this massive political headache, a real nightmare back in Washington. The administration is caught in a perfect trap, a checkmate move, really. They're being forced to choose between two options, and frankly, both of them are terrible, especially with an election right around the corner.
And just look at this no-win scenario. Option A, the U.S. hits back hard. Well, that completely breaks the promise of no more endless wars, right? And that could cost them their political base. But option B, the U.S. does nothing. Well, then our allies panic, the markets go into a nosedive, and America's credibility on the world stage just collapses. You see the problem? There is no good move here.
So how did we end up in this corner? Well, the whole strategy was basically a bet. The administration was counting on a diplomatic deal, a sort of pause button for May 2025 that would calm everything down and keep the ships moving. Well, that bet didn't pay off. The deal is dead, and now there is no plan B. They're completely scrambling to figure out what to do next in a crisis they thought they had already solved.
Which brings us full circle, right back to where we started, your wallet. All of this stuff we've talked about, the geography, the cheap drones, the political trap, it's all about to come together and hit us where it hurts. We're talking about a massive price shock that every single one of us is going to feel.
And this is how it happens. Think of it like a chain of dominoes. It all starts with just one missile hitting one target. Boom. Instantly, the insurance rates for any ship going through that area go through the roof. That extra cost, it gets passed on to you and me, which means energy prices spike. All of a sudden, everything you buy costs more, and that money you have saved in the bank, it's worth less. It's a terrifyingly fast chain reaction.
So what does this actually look like in your life? It looks like filling up your car costing as much as a full cart of groceries. It looks like going to the store and seeing empty shelves where the bread is supposed to be. It means that stuff we take for granted, a new phone, a new pair of shoes, suddenly feel like luxury items. Heck, it could even mean the lights flickering at home because power plants can't get enough fuel. This is the real-world fallout.
So here's the bottom line. You're going to see this on the news, and they're going to talk about geopolitics. But this isn't about geopolitics anymore. The shockwaves from this are aimed directly at your bank account. This has become about one simple thing, your next fuel bill. And it leaves all of us with a really unsettling question. Just how high are prices going to go?